Today I'm going to do a first DIY video on my SLK55. The other day I had a problem with my engine where I was getting a limited power about 5,000 RPM. I scanned it with my code scanner and it came up with two codes. The first one was a P13C911 exhaust actuator short circuit to ground. The second one was a P13C272. The exhaust actuator wasn't fully closing. So that's what my issue is. I've read about it online, and that's a common problem apparently. So if you want to kind of follow me, I'll show you. So exhaust valve actuator is actually, there's two fitted on these cars. There's one fitted behind here in that exhaust, and another one behind here on the exhaust. I'll put a screenshot of what it looks like. So basically, it's saying one of them won't close, but it doesn't actually tell me which one. So that's the problem with the fault code. So I've decided to repair this to go with Plan A. Plan A, I bought one of these kits. They're known as a exhaust valve delete kit. They're actually designed for Golf R Mk7 Golf R, but they actually do work with the Mercedes because they use the same actuator. What this actually does is bypasses the actuator, it keeps the valves open fully, but then the loop that actually tells the ECU there's no issues. So that's my Plan A. If I don't like it, the sound's too loud or whatever reason, I think I'll stick to the Plan B, which will probably mean swap out the actuator. They're about 300 quid from Mercedes. You can get them cheaper. An Audi VW equivalent is about £150, exactly the same part. So let's fit these and see how we get on. Right, first things first. Before fitting the exhaust emulators, we need to make sure the valves are open on both exhaust pipes. There's a process to doing that. So the process is you need to start your car, then switch it off, leave the key in, and then switch it back to position 2, but don't start the car, and then the valves will actually stay open, and then you can switch the ignition off again and the valves will remain open for a certain amount of time. So I'm going to do that now. Right, so you probably noticed it's quite loud already with the stock, well not stock actuators, but the previous owner actually fitted an X pipe and done a resonator delete. The resonators are the things in the middle of the exhaust where people mistaken for catalytic converters. So let's see how it sounds like once I fitted the emulators. So I'll carry on with the process. So engine off with the key in, switch it back to number 2, and then switch it back off, take the key out, and hopefully the valves remain open, which I'm going to have a quick look. Yes they are, they're fully open. So now I'll proceed and carry on, swap out the exhaust emulator. Thank you. Right, so I'm going to start with the right hand side exhaust first. Apparently that's easier to get to than the left hand side. So I'll just quickly show you what's involved before I actually do it. So as you can see on the inside exhaust pipe, there's the actuator motor up there, which rotates the flap within this exhaust. It's a bit hard to see, but it's actually open at the moment. There's none on the outside. The outside's pretty open all the time. So I need to disconnect this loop, this plug, for my actuator to connect to, which will bypass the valve and keep the valve open. It's a bit tricky to get this connector off. The idea is that grey clip there needs to be pushed out towards the right, towards my finger. I've actually done it already. You have to put a flat blade in there or something flat, and then wiggle it out, and this clip will pop up. Now the hard part is getting this, well not the hard part, the next part is to push this connector down and then pull on the connector at the same time to release it. So I'll do that now. Right, after a few minutes of, I needed 2 hands to do that. I had to hold that clip down, this one I just pulled out earlier, hold it down towards, push it down the bottom, and then I had to use my other finger to actually lever the plug out. It eventually came out. It wasn't too bad. Now I've figured out how it works. The other side should be the same idea. Yeah. Right, so these are the emulators and blanking plugs that I'm going to fit, 2 per side of the exhaust. These are the blanking plugs which fit onto the actuator to protect it from water ingress on the plug, etc. And then that part is the actual emulator, which goes onto the loom, back to the ECU, which is basically what I took off earlier. It's dangling there. So that will fit onto there. And then the blanking plug will actually fit onto the actuator plug, as you can see there, to protect it. So once I've done that, I'll probably tie that safe somewhere in the corner to keep it out the way, and then job done. Okay, so the right side exhaust is done. Don't know if you can see that I've connected it up, and I've put the loom, I've tied it into the corner onto the main loom, cable tied it there. And then the blanking plug, as you can see, that's connected to the original actuator to blank it off. So the left exhaust was a little bit more tricky because the actuator faces away towards the back of the exhaust. So I have to come from the side to do this under the car. You can see the blanking plug is being inserted into the original actuator, and then I plugged the emulator into the loom plug and cable tied it towards the side on the left hand side of the bumper, out the way. So all done. Okay, before I start her up and take her for a test drive, etc., I want to check for fault codes and clear any on my diagnostics machine. So let's do that first. I've got my little portable iCarSoft diagnostics. I have other diagnostics like Sentry, etc., but this is quite handy on the go. So ignition's on at the moment, number 2. So let's go through and read the fault code, which I believe, hopefully, there aren't any. So that proves that my connection to the emulator are all good. No, nothing to read, nothing to be worried about at the moment. So that's it. So I'm going to start her up and give it a test drive. Let's start her up. Hold your ears. Right, give it some revs, shall we? Ready? That is definitely a lot louder than before. The flap's fully open. I'm going to take it for a test drive. Let's see how we get on. Right, test drive. Alright, so at the moment I've left it on eco mode, which is the standard mode. Let's see what it sounds like. The flaps are fully open now, whereas before I think it varies between 15, 30 and 50 degrees part throttle, and then fully open on full throttle. But now it's fully open. Let's see how we get on. Oh, the first impressions, the low revs below 2000 definitely a lot louder than before. I like it. I like it. Right. Interested to see what it sounds like when it runs on cylinder deactivation, Eco 4 mode, because I had heard some reports that it doesn't really sound very well with the flaps open on Eco 4. But let's have a look. But I think I have to do about 40 miles an hour before Eco 4 will actually initiate. So let's get on the main road and see what happens. So high revs, more than 3,000 RPM. Wow. Just as loud as before on full revs. Eco 4, right, we're in Eco 4 mode now, as you can see. So it's running on 4 cylinders, V4. Not too bad. As you can hear, I'm impressed. This actually sounds not too bad on Eco 4, better than I thought. I'll put it in sport mode. Right, sport manual. Wow. That sounds good. I like this. Definitely a worthwhile investment. I think it was 40 quid for the emulators. So, yeah, good. Definitely a lot louder. Below 2,000, 2 to 3,000 is definitely a lot louder. I like it. This is what a V8 should sound like. Oh, that rev matching downpipe. It's fantastic. Right, here we go. Wow. That is good. I like that. Right, downshift. Wow. Night and day, all I can say. It sounds wonderful. Let's give it another go. Right, manual mode, 2000 RPM. Here we go. I can't believe this. Definitely worth 40 quid. Wow, that's from the lights. Sounds wonderful. I like it. Oh, that throttle blip downshift, that sounds fantastic. Can't get enough of this. I think the fact that the previous owner who owned this car had the X-Pipe mod done, plus the resonator delete down below me, and I think that's made a lot of difference. Definitely 100%. It's a lot louder. Combined with this emulator, it's definitely made a hell of a difference. So my conclusion so far, I think it's waked a lot of neighbours up, get a lot of looks. It's definitely what a V8 should sound like, in my opinion. It was slightly a bit more muted before with the original actuators at low revs, but it seems like the noise is there from idle all the way to the red line now. That's the biggest difference I found. So is it a good investment for £40? Definitely worth fitting. Right, back home now. I better tone down my engine. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.